Well, let's see how it works out tonight. Oh, goodness. Catching everybody flat-footed. Oh, two of you already. I didn't catch too many flat-footed. Somebody was waiting and watching on me. What up, folks? Rick, what's going on, brother? Well, I only sampled it a little bit. It's back there in the icebox. I'll be eating after this live stream. I tried a taste of the pork and a couple of little smokies. One of my other people, he told me next time throw some taters in there. Might have to give that a try. I like my taters now. Oh. Done left the house. Company jacked me around a little bit on this weekend. It is what it is. What's up there, Brandon? First time catching me live. Well, welcome. Glad you made it in here. This is where I get to dazzle you with my BS. Oh, wait a minute. No, my brilliance. That's what it is. What's the old saying? If you can't dazzle them with brilliance and baffle them with bullshit. I'm good at one or the other. I ain't sure what. What up, Jim? Now, Jim was just down my way. He met one of my buddy, fellow truckers. Had dinner with him. I'm down here in Houston. Oh, Kurt, what's going on? You got the notifications. Good deal. I got to pick up a load tomorrow and be in Van Buren, Arkansas by 9 o'clock. And, yeah, Michael's up there at the yard now. He left out early this morning. But I don't know why I keep going to put these down. I got to have them try to read that. But I got to be in Van Buren, Arkansas by 9 o'clock Tuesday, and I've still got 2 drops around here and a pickup. Plus, it's over 500 miles up there. So, if I left the house in the morning like I normally do, I'd be putting the hurtings on myself. So, I elected to go ahead and come out tonight. Didn't do nothing today but cook, as you've seen. Now, I brought one of the Burton stoves out with me, just so that I could, let's see. Hello, good sir. Heading to my second week of class tomorrow. Well, cool, dude. Are you learning anything? What are they teaching you? Just how to drive the truck, or are they teaching you about trucking? Are they teaching about any of the regulations, the logs, anything other than just trucking? Or anything other than driving. But I brought one of the Burton stoves out. I've never tried to use one like I was trying today in that video. I've always just used them in the truck. But I thought I would be cute, and to make y'all a video, I would, well, I done dropped 2 already. Oh well. Could be their signal. Could be they just couldn't stand the competition of the chick magnet. I've never tried it like I was doing it at the house. That little inverter, I guess it is. I've always used that for like my igloo and my phones and stuff in the motel rooms. I've never tried to use it because motel room got a microwave. So I was hoping that was going to work. Obviously, it did not. So I brought my Burton stove out. I don't have anything in here to cook in it. I just want to make sure that it was working. And if it is working, then I will consider and decide what I'll do then. The Burton stove is one of the best tools that y'all can get to save you money. And no, I don't make no money for advertising for them. I'm just trying to help y'all out. So, and actually, I used to have a blog. Me and my buddy Pork Chop was writing a cookbook. It was called In Cab Cooking. It was a cookbook just for truckers. And What brand is it? It's Burton Stove. Just look in any of the truck stops, and you'll see it. Some people call it a lunchbox cooker because it looks like the old black lunch boxes. And you know, here's your little 12 volt cord for it. And all three of mine were working when I put them away. You're at the house. Stormy said, tell that sexy stud hi for me. Well, why can't she tell me hi? Hi, darling. I'm sorry he made it home and you got to put up with him. That's the hazards of marrying a Yankee. Yeah, they cost around 30 bucks. You might find them for 25. When you go out with your trainer, dude, you get little cards from all of the truck stops. And they're a points reward card. Here's mine for the Loves. You know, and I have one in my wallet as well. Save up your points while you're out with your trainer. Whenever you're having to fuel, scan your card. I have been told that some trainers tell you have to use their points card. No, you don't. If you're fueling, use your points card. And save up your points, and you can accumulate points pretty dadgum quick. That will knock the price down a whole lot. But like I said, I have never tried to use it like I did on the at the house today. So, and Grandma, she couldn't hardly talk at all. I don't know if you heard her squeaking in the background. She sounds like she's going through the puberty change. That's what I was teasing her about all day. And she allowed to let me know that she had done surpassed that goal in her life. So it is what it is. So anyhow, back to the trip. I've got 2 drops to make here in Houston, 1 pickup in the Houston area, and then 500 miles up there by 9 o'clock. If I had done it from the house, see, and I got 60 miles to the next drop. It's 609 miles right now. And I'm almost 80 miles from the house. So it would have been 700 miles to do today with 2 drops, 1 pickup, and dealing with all the traffic and trying to make Van Buren. That would not have been good. Let's see. What kind of simple meals can you make in the stove? Sorry, just now logging on. Billy, I'll tell you what, dude. If you'll go watch where I was cooking today, I think I caught it, what was it, In the Kitchen with Papa Joe or something. I did a little brief on it. And what I was going to tell y'all is Pork Chop and I was writing a book. It was called In Cab Cooking. And me and him did a lot of cooking in our trucks. We ran together a lot, running boats up to Canada. So we did a lot of cooking and experimenting. After I lost my son, I just fell into a deep depression. And a lady friend of mine in Arkansas, the redheaded biker bitch, and she was born into the biker clubs and stuff, but she was a pretty decent girl overall. I spent about a week down there with her and her dad, or her husband, I'm sorry. And she got reading on what Kenny and I was writing, Pork Chop and I was writing, and she started encouraging me to turn it into a blog, which I didn't even have a clue what a blog was. And I sat down there during the week and I turned it into a blog. And it's called Cross Country Cooking with Papa Joe, is what I think I named it. So if you'll go do a search for Cross Country Cooking with Papa Joe, there's a lot of recipes on there. Some of mine and some of Pork Chop's. And you can get books for them right out of the truck stops. You didn't even get off long enough for a 34-hour reset, did you? Nope, 30 hours, brother. Jamie, what's going on? Grant, how you doing, brother? Oh, you still doing good? Them issues are taken care of? They're not bothering you? You doing your 3-5s? Oh. Me and Grant's got a few phone conversations going, trying to help him along on a little bit of stuff. I love it when people are willing to learn. Learning is good. It took me a long time to learn that. So, but yeah, cross country cooking with Papa Joe. Somebody do a search on that and let me know if I am correct about the name. Truck and Stone, you love it? Okay. Grant, getting better every day. That's what I want to hear, brother. Call me if you need somebody to vent to, bro. You got my number. Good morning from Australia. Mate, it's 11:30 a.m. Monday. No, it ain't, dude. It is 8:30 Sunday night. Dadgum, y'all get all confused. Cat Daddy Mafia. That's a hell of a name. Just sitting here harassing folks. I'm in Houston. Oh, send down here my next receiver for in the morning. This road would chill out here before long. It's usually not this noisy. So I've got, Timothy ain't on yet, is he? He's from France, and now we got one from Australia. Y'all say howdy to that Australian. He calls us a mate, so y'all call him a mate. Say howdy to him. Let me add in this on my thing here so I can see what I have to do Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, 700 miles by the time I get to the yard. Oh, it is what it is. It's Monday there. Well, if it's 11:30 Monday morning, you thinking about lunch. Rick told you welcome. Jim Dunn said howdy, Aussie mate. DeSoto, Texas. That's up around Dallas, ain't it there, Trucking Stone? I ain't real sure where that is. I know where DeSoto, Missouri is. I picked up chips from there before. So, I have often wanted to go over there to Australia to drive. I've seen some YouTubes about them big old long trains that they haul, land trains I think they call them, where they got 3 or 4 big old trailers behind them. But then I got thinking about it, and somebody told me that one of them trailers, that first trailer, is nothing but pieces, parts, and fuel. And you got to fix your own truck and all this, your own tires. Oh man, that is out of my realm. Let's see, now that's a LCV. Yes sir, just south on 20. You don't go south on 20, dude. South of 20 on I-35. Okay, my bad. Crossroad Cooking with Papa Joe at WordPress. That is correct. Billy Martin looked it up for you folks. So if you want to read a little bit about cooking in the truck, there you go. Thank you, Billy. I'm going to have to have my son see if he can do some kind of a link onto the channel or onto the Facebook page for it. Let's see. Watch Papa, mate. He'll steal your wife with his devilishly looks. No. Hey, dude, just because your wife has got good taste and she's crazy about me, you'll be all right. Trust me. Remember, my wife is happily married. Let's see. Cat Daddy Mafia, I've been driving for a year, and I can't take the East Coast. Well, why would you want to? Grant said, did you bring some of that? Oh, yeah, I brought some of that, and it's back there. I had bought a hamburger to cook the in the Burton stove to show y'all how it worked, and I wound up making a Lazy Man chili out of it. So that's back there too. I'll be eating good this week. I told Mama, I said we ain't cooked in damn near a month. just because we've had so much stuff to do. And it's one of them things where I brought more food out today than I have in the last 2 weeks. I'll be gaining weight. Alright, let's see. Teaching his logbook hours in service, Canadian U.S. defensive driving, transport of dangerous goods, proper maintenance, and tire change for winter driving. I'm doing good, Jamie. That's all good stuff to learn. I'm glad to hear they're teaching you that. Are you going through a college, you going through a company school, or are you going through an independent school? Who are you going with? Oh. Let's see. TMB Trucker. Hey, Papa Joe, are out early this week? Yeah. I got in late and left out early. Welcome to trucking. They were claiming last week that our main hauler, our main customer out of our yard area, didn't give them a whole lot. So they gave me a BS run down my way where I had to put a little bit of that Southern Charm on 2 of them to kick them off Saturday that don't normally take them Saturday. And I got home right at noon Saturday. And I had a 30-hour break, and to make my future week work out right, I had to leave tonight. So there's just sometimes that you got to do what you got to do. I can't mess with Grandma's paycheck. She's a mean old woman now. I'm here to tell you, you gotta watch her. So, boy, I'm tempted to turn that plug that Burton stove in up here, but I don't want to take a chance of blowing this outlet up here, so I'm going to check my outlets in the bunk later on and try to plug it in back there, just see if it'll get hot. Let's see. You know that's right. You've been in that predicament, have you? Now, I could have been stupid about it all, but the only one I really would have hurt would have been me and Grandma. So I went ahead and did what had to be done on the getting home and on getting out this tonight, and I'll deal with them later. So I will have a personal chat with the general manager myself. Let's see. Hi, sweetheart. There's my daughter, Grace Childress. Tell her howdy. Is Allie watching me? Hi, Allie. That's my granddaughter, Allie. And Brett. I was drawing a blank. Howdy, Brett. Let's see. Warwick, our Australian guy, is telling us they are called road trains. Called road trains here, mate. Sadly, steering wheel holders nowadays, mostly professionals. Do the same thing here. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you know we have a real serious... these damn schools and training facilities, they're just like a slaughterhouse. Get them through. All they want to do is teach them just enough to get their CDL. That one hand that I'm talking to there, that's really surprising me that they're teaching him logs and a bunch of the regulations and stuff, and teaching him U.S. and Canada. That he must be in Canada. Probably be teaching him U.S. and Canada. Let's see. Only got a 7-hour weekend for home time. Well, dadgum, boy. You need to quit that. Let's see. And Warwick, he said howdy to everybody that was hollering howdy on him. Versatile Training Solutions in Susick, New Brunswick, Canada. I kind of figured that. Drove 5 hours to go here to take this course. Trucking is important, and I'd be proud. Now, I can tell you one thing. When I hauled boats up there to Canada, I was over by, dadgummit, it starts with a Calgary. I was over in that neck of the woods. and I think that's where it was, where there was an old Freightliner manufacturer or something, and I would park around in the back. No, it wasn't Calgary. That's when I crossed over out there by Oregon and stuff. That's where I went up there. Uh, but a lot of their trainers would come through there, and they're one-on-one. And I would watch them doing their pre-trips and stuff, getting them ready to take their test and whatnot. And I guarantee you, they're a lot more thorough about it than we are. So, I now we're taught to do it right and all that. We really don't, the majority of us. And I doubt if they do it 100% like they was, but watching them study for their test, because that's what they'll do and get ready to test. It's like, damn. Oh, let's see what else. Let me put this on. She sure is watching it with me, missing you tonight. Well, there ain't no need missing me. You got me here live and in person. Hi, Allie. Love you, sweetheart. Let's see. That's it. It's kind of scary. He must be in a great school. It sounds like it. Canada takes their trucking a lot more serious than we do. And their safety up there. They take it. And I was afraid of being harassed. I heard the war stories from way back when, and I wouldn't go up there for a lot of years. I crossed over barely out of Detroit once or twice, doing some of the car stuff, Ford stuff. But when I started running up there hauling boats, never got stopped once. Went through a few of their scale houses, no problems. The only place I had any issues was at the border, and the paperwork issues ain't a big deal. They resolved them fairly quick. I think the longest I got held up was maybe 3 hours on paperwork, and it wasn't the border's fault. The brokers and all that doing the paperwork, get it in and out, they're the ones that screwed up. But up there by the border, I got DOT'd twice. Both times was by American DOTs. So, never did have an issue with any of the Canadians. Now, where I was talking about crossing over, I think it was in Washington where we crossed over out there. Now, we did have one driver that he drove the exact same truck I drove, a W9, and we was too damn long to be in that neck of the woods. And they kept harassing him. One time did I have to cross that scale, and the old boy had walked out of his scale house, went out to his car to get his lunch, and he had left the green light on, and I eased across them scales while he was getting, boy, he was watching me. He knew he just let one go by, but he didn't yell stop. But, let's see. The legend is live. Boy, you got that right. I'm a legend in my own mind, right? Let's see. Stone says, I've learned more from drivers than I have from school here. Well, and that's how it's going to be, dude. How much money can you make in the Texas oil fields? Well, it depends upon what you do in them. I don't drive the Texas oil fields. Now, one of the other hands that's on here, I'm not going to say his name. If he wants to give up information, he's doing it, and he's making right there around what I'm making, and he gets home every day. But now he's also driving nights and sleeping of a day. You can make it with the right experience. But now that's like I was talking to him, his company requires 10 years experience. So if you've got 1 year, there's some that would hire you. Do your homework. Never too old to learn trucking, Stone. That's a fact. Let's see. The day a driver thinks he's done learning, he should probably retire. Well, I'm not done learning, but I'm ready to retire. If y'all would all send me a bunch of money, I'd retire in a heartbeat. You wouldn't even have to put up with me no more. Let's see. Come on, go away, Errol. That's aggravating. Have you ever got in trouble with the DOT? Out here, as long as I've been out here, we've all had our little issues. Uh, the worst issues I've ever had was in the great state of California. That's why I boycotted them for so many years. Oh. Hey, Allie. I know that's her that just said, hey. Razor Bear, what's up, Papa Joe? I am, man. I took a 2.5 hour nap today, so you know. Well, honey, I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Your Uncle Joe told me to talk to you the other day. You was taking tests. Did you do good on your test? And y'all don't mind me while I chit-chat periodically with my grandbaby. Chicago Kings Transportation. Hello, sir. What's going on, brother? God bless you. Glad you made it in. Let's see. Oh, goodness. What kind of questions y'all got for me tonight? Go ahead and spit them out. Let me, give me something to talk to you about. Let's see if Allie said how she did. Yep, she said she passed her test. Good. Chicago Kings? You a driver or what? I just told on Allie? Well, all these people out here, they need to know, hey, that's my grandbaby. I'm proud of her. Oh, she's doing good. I want to hear about you jackknifing. That must have been crazy. It was, and it was in the good Lord's hands. I'm here to tell you. That was a hydroplane thing. And somebody else want to know what happened with California. Why I boycotted them. Well, a lot of us boycotted them. California used to be one of the most anti-trucking states there ever was. We thought Ohio was bad, but they didn't really hold a candle. Ohio was only bad if you were speeding and stuff. California, they would make nonsense up. I went through one of their DOTs, was going through a scale, and they triggered me to get DOT'd. Now, I had been sick. I mean, I'd been bad sick, and you could tell I was still sick. And paper logs, of course. And I had showed where I'd spent 3 days in my sleeper. So when you go into one of them, they take your driver's license and your book for your truck, all your paperwork, and your logbook. And they pass it off to someone else. They got looking at that stuff. And she wanted to talk to me about my logs. Now on my truck, there was rust trails by my lug nuts back there. And so they wrote me up for loose lug nuts, which there happened to be a tire guy there, and he did his thing, and he wrote on there that they wasn't loose. So DOT left the ticket on there, and told me I needed to carry a can of white spray paint to cover up those rust marks. Yeah, right. Gotcha. So then when I went inside, the lady's looking at my logs, and she says, and you spent over 3 days in your sleeper? And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I'm sick. I said, I was really bad. I'm better, but I'm still sick. And you never got out of your truck? I said, well, I went in there to use the bathroom once a day type deal. Oh, well, you should have logged that on duty, not or off duty, not driving. One of these nonsense. And I'm like, really? For a 5-minute bathroom break. So between loose lug nuts that were not loose, and because I showed in the sleeper berth while I was sick, $650 fine. And I said, yeah, buddy, good luck collecting that, and I'll never be back. They haven't collected it, and I ain't been back. Well, yes, I have, but I close my eyes when I go back so they can't see me. Let's see. And somebody retracted the message. Have I ever driven triples? No, ma'am. I haven't even driven doubles. I have my endorsement for it, but I have not driven them. Let's see. I was a student and I passed myself a CDL job, now looking for a job. Well, if you're up there around Chicago, there's a few of them up there. Chicago is a major hub, that whole area. Oh. How's Mama Rose? Well, she's a little sick. She lost her voice for several days. It ain't strep throat or nothing. I think it was the night air. She was out 2 nights in a row in the night air, and I think that's what got her. But she's getting better. They also teach us on a 13-speed manual, while lots of schools teach on an auto shift, which is another reason why you chose that school. Well, good deal. My understanding, if you're trained on an automatic transmission nowadays, is they put some kind of letter on your CDLs, and that's all you're allowed to drive, unless you go to more training to learn how to drive a standard. Let's see, you flatbed pods, and I hate having to cross into California. They inspect every nook and cranny of my load. That's a fact. I miss you too, sweetheart. That's where I was telling on one of my stories a while back. I was in Montana, Sweetgrass, I think it is, getting ready to cross into Canada. And he stopped me, and he wrote me for 2 things. One of them was I had a boat that kept walking. The general rule in hauling boats is either it's a pain in the butt or no problems at all. And this was being a pain in the butt. I had one boat that kept moving on me. So I put an extra strap around the front of it. I had more than required. And this was just in case it started trying to move and I didn't catch it. Keep it from getting stupid. So he wrote me up for that one being loose, although I'm explaining to him why it's loose and what it's about. He didn't want to hear it. He also took one of them little spread prong things that, you know, you measure little bitty stuff with. I can't think name of micro whatever. And he went along one of the belts that he seen was one of my older belts that had about a dozen little bitty fuzzy places on it where it wasn't really tore, none of that, and he measured all of those he could find on that one strap and add them together and wrote me up for that and made me replace that one. And I said, well, if I replace that one, I said, you gonna take that off the write-up? Nope. So he was a real butthole. And that's what I was telling you. I never had any issues with Canada at all. All of my issues was down here. And I don't know why they're like that. I have my thoughts. But, you know, they say it's all about safety. I don't quite agree with them. So, you know, that's why they're into that, oh, we'll teach him by charging him. Yeah, right. Gotcha. So, and that one I did pay. So, got to keep that CDL going. What big truck would you drive if you had a choice? W9 with an 18-speed. My favorite truck. W9 with 18-speed. Let's see. Jim's saying he's looking into a trucking company that do dedicated relay runs, and you're home daily driving a day cab. They're also close to the house. But what exactly is a relay run? Well, that's where you're going to have a meeting point. You know how you get to some of these truck stops and you see Roadway or any of the other trucks, all kinds of them do it. They pull in there and they drop their trailer. Then they sit in the next parking spot and piss you off because you wanted a parking spot. Well, they're waiting on somebody else to come in. FedEx does that kind of stuff a lot. UPS does that. But all a relay is that you two meet at a given point, and that's already established, and you swap out loads. He turns around, goes back to where he came from. You turn around and go back to the way that you came from. The only problem with any of that I have heard of is people say that same route sure does get old. Well, you know, you gotta pay the sacrifices to get home daily. Oh, she's feeling a lot better, sweetheart. I-10 Blythe Agriculture saw an ant on a pod, and it took 3 days for them to identify it as a safe species of ant to cross into California. And thank God I'm company. Yeah, and that's the kind of nonsense I'm talking about. You know, now I understand Florida's got some ag check stations too, but they get carried away. What did I have for dinner? I haven't. We did some cooking today. Go watch my video about cooking today. We did up some sauerkraut that your Uncle Joe gave me a recipe for. And so I cooked up a pork loin and some bratwurst and some little smokies with sauerkraut. Cooked them up in the crock pot. And the sampling I did, they turned out pretty good. I'll have to break them out in a little bit and warm some up. I'm out, mate. Got to go take care of Papa Joe. I'll take care of Papa Joe. All right, brother. Thanks for stopping in, man. God bless you. Remember, the good Lord loves you, and so do I. Thanks for stopping in and seeing us. Let's see. Dart Express is the trucking company. Haven't heard of them. Yes, I have. Dart's a big company, but I would do my homework, Jim. Do your homework real good. Get stuff in writing. So, Dart's been around for a while. They used to have a name. And that's what I told somebody else the other day, is that you have to really stop when you go talking to any of the old drivers. A lot of these companies used to not be so good. Over the course of the last several years, with DOT and regulations and all this other stuff, they have gotten better. So, you know, if a driver's just trashing them, you still need to do your own homework and find out. A lot of them have made improvements. I just recommended somebody to Schneider. 10 years or 15 years ago, I wouldn't have recommended you to them for nothing. But another driver was talking about going to them, and I said, yeah, they've really improved a lot. So a lot of them have improved. But with any of them, they're used car salesmen. Have you had any people in the cars brake check you lately? No, not really. That's because I'm old and wore out. I'm not just pushing it and riding on their butts or any of that stuff. Now, every once in a while they do it. Not intentionally, just because they're stupid. So, and I say that simply because they're not paying attention. Period. They just ain't paying attention. And that's the point blank simple truth of it all. Let's see. You love my cooking videos? Well, cool. Let's see. And Razor Bear says they love my cooking videos. I need to track down that tool you have to cook the ground meats. Chops it up in the pan. Actually, the wife bought that. It was one of them things hanging on the end cap type deal, you know, where they have some on a little piece of cardboard. I don't know if it was Walmart or H-E-B, but it was one of them things that she just seen hanging in there, and she said, I want to try this. I want get the damn thing. You can't try it if you don't get it. We love it. We love it. It's great. Don't forget the emission BS in California. Yeah, right. Grant is telling you to stay away, Jim. So there you go. There's a few of them like that, like I said, they had a bad name, and I don't know if they've improved or not. And, you know, this CB is a useless tool anymore. So, it is what it is. What it is. So, let's see here. Oh, no, y'all stopped? Don't stop on me. If you stop communicating, I'm going to start telling you how I'm the chick magnet. Then I'll start getting people jealous again. Let's see, you're in Idaho about to head out for God bless, Godspeed. All right, well, be safe out there. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you enjoy my videos and share them with all your friends. Ask guys at truck stops. Well, that's not always your best source anymore. You're a lot better off to just start looking them up online. And remember, it's one of them deals that disgruntled employees put up more comments than happy ones. So, you know, just start trying to do some research like that. Look up their safety score, their CVSA score, different stuff like that. Find a lot of info about companies like that. Well, you can, but it's not always the good ones. Good tips for teams that are going to Brave this year. Yeah, no boyfriends, period. Remember, Papa Joe said that. Papa Joe said it. It's the truth. No boyfriends. Now until you're 35. Then I'll consider letting you date. Until then, no boyfriends, no dating. Don't make grandma come up there and talk to you. Have you ever done OTR in a cab over? And what's it like driving and living in one? That's what I started in. Actually, that daughter of mine on there could testify to that. I started with J.B. Hunt, and it was in a cab over. And it wasn't all bad, but you got to remember that was a long time ago, and climbing in and out of them wasn't a big deal. Nowadays, it would kill me. You have to climb over a doghouse right here to get to your bunk in the back. I didn't really know any difference, so it wasn't that bad on me. And nowadays, if I could get one of the old cab overs, one of the last ones that they made there in the 90s, I guess, they got a low profile doghouse that's only an inch or so high, so you ain't climbing over that big old doghouse. The one I would want, when you open the door, you had two selections, one to climb down like we did the old ones, and the other one had a little staircase that would open out with it. Now, I wouldn't mind getting one of those, I think, and driving it. A cab over is a whole different experience, I guarantee you. Let's see. I didn't mind Warner for the 2 years I was there, but the communication wasn't the best. Communication's a problem with a lot of them. So, I heard Swift is a very good company from drivers, believe it or not. Well, I don't know about all that. Actually, Michael, that you hear me talking about, that I brought over here, he did his 2 years with Swift, and he sure didn't give a good report on them. I know from some of the driving that I've seen out here, they damn sure need trained better. They have one of the highest accident ratings in the industry. So, that being said, any company, if you get set up right and you've got a good dispatcher and you've got the communications going, they can be a good company. Any company you get on where you've got a bad dispatcher and no communications, it is what it is. So, what's wrong, Allie? You didn't like that? Okay, I can make it 40. Good day. How you doing? Let's see. What happened, Papa Joe? Swift drivers are here. Ha ha. Watch what you say. Hey, that's fine. Be a Swift driver. That's fine. One thing about being on my channel is I am point blank honest, whether it hurts or not. So, you know, if anybody's a snowflake and you don't want to hear the truth, you might not want to be on my channel. I deal it out like I want it dealt to me, and I don't want nothing sugar coated. Tell me the truth and I'll deal with it. I got a big boy. I am a big boy, and I got big boy panties back there that I can put on if I have to. So, and besides that, what up, Ryder? How long have you been on ELDs? Probably about the last 3 years. Well, over 2 years with this company, and then I was paper while I did the rock and roll thing. Then before that, about a year and a half, but that was on my own personal phone that they made us download some nonsense. So it's been over 2 years. And it depends upon your attitude on how they're going to affect you. I mean, there are some that just hate them. And it don't matter what you do, they're going to hate them. I had been trying to slow down for several years. And I was tired of the companies pushing me and me pushing me. And it was just all but impossible with paper log for me to slow down because of me. Because the way I'd been driving for the previous 15, 20 years, gotta go. And I didn't sleep very long. So I would wake up after having 5 hours sleep, and I would draw new lines on that coloring book, and I'm gone. So this ELD, you can't do that. I am now down to where I can sleep 7 hours. I am tickled to death with that. Every blue moon, I'll get 8 hours. So for me, it has helped me slow down, which I really needed to. So according to my wife and my doctor. Let's see, that's right. The truth hits the spot. Yeah, the truth is the truth. Yep. Waiting for till 23:59 to deliver a load of ice cream at Salt Lake City, Utah. Hey, buddy. Hopefully you'll be out there by 4 a.m. Hopefully you're there and you're off duty and you ain't got to log on duty to do all that. Oh, yep, put your big boy pants on. Let's see, that's true, Papa Joe. Is as honest as they come. He is tell you how it is, and that is why I love his channel. Well, thank you. What's my thoughts on night transportation? I really don't know a whole lot about them, to be honest with you. They're probably okay. I've heard some people complain about them, but I don't care what company you got, you're going to hear people complain about them. Now, I will agree with that other driver, where if you're thinking about an individual company like that, I would talk to several of their drivers, find out how long they have been there, and if they start really trying to sell the company like they're a recruiter, walk away. You want regular drivers to answer you. That being said, keep that salt shaker, grain of salt. They are truck drivers. Let's see. Do you think big trucks should be safer? They disintegrated every accident. Well, there ain't a whole lot you can do to make them safer. What we need to do is make the drivers safer in the big trucks and in the cars. I personally believe that every state, there should be videos and stuff that people should have to watch just to learn about how to deal with big trucks. My biggest pet peeve is when they get right there on your trailer tandems or on your drives and they just sit there. They don't realize what a dangerous position they have put themselves in. So, and some of these big trucks out here, you watch them. and they whip that truck around like they're in a four-wheeler. And that's simply because they have not been taught the proper ways of driving a big truck. And I've said it in other videos, so this ain't the first time. Oh, let's see. Hey, Mike, was just talking about you, man. Michael's that Swift driver. He came over here from 2 years in Swift. Michael, somebody was saying that they had heard Swift was pretty good company. I told him you didn't have a whole lot of good to say about them. Oh. Let's see. Jason Rawlings, Swift is good. Some of the drivers, well, that's a different story. Well, that depends upon your definition of good. And once again, if you get set up in the right deal, any company can be good, or any company can be bad. And it also depends upon what you want out of a company. Let's see. Jamie says a lot of them are just complaining, not very informative. Let's see. I hear you, Ryder. That what a company gets for giving all the guys a shot at trucking. What is my favorite truck stop to visit? There ain't one anymore. Back in the day, I used to like my Union 76s. They're gone. Some of the TAs and Petros was pretty good. The Petros was one of my favorites for a long time. But anymore, none of them. Petros and TA have merged together, and I'm not real fond of either one of them. So that's why, like tonight, I'm not at a truck stop. I passed a few of them. There's one less than 5 miles down the road I could have got it parking in. I don't go in and spend a lot of money in truck stops. I get tired of eating the fast food out of them. If they do have a restaurant, the majority of them, it ain't worth a damn. So I carry everything. I am self-sufficient here in my truck for anything that comes up. And I just seem like tonight, sit right here at my receiver, and I don't have to start that electronic log. I'm here. So it's all a matter of what you do with trucking out here. And to me, a truck stop's nothing but a place to get fuel and get the hell out. Oh, let's see. Knight bought out Swift, or they merged. I had heard something about that. Papa Joe, do you know how to tell when a driver is lying? I sure do. Their lips are moving. Let's see. He started driving with Swift. Oh, that's Michael. They certainly served a purpose for me. They were good drivers and bad. Yep. And his purpose was they got him started in trucking. They got him his CDL, got him his 2 years experience. Well, God bless you too, Matthew. Are you taking off? Or are you just coming on? Let's see. Jason says, I was looking at Swift to get all my training, pay me back for it, and work for them a few years to learn and eventually do my own thing. Well, that's what you've got to do with any of them, and that's what I tell everybody. Them big companies like that, put them in a bag and shake them up, draw the name out, and they're all basically the same. The thing is, do a little homework on what they're going to train you. Michael, did Swift put you through one of their schools? What was their schools like? You've heard me say numerous times that they're barely teaching you how to drive a truck to get your CDLs. Now that hand that's on here, scroll back through later on. There's he's up in Canada. He went to Canada to take his schooling, and from what he's saying on here, they're teaching you about being a truck driver, not just a steering wheel holder. So anybody you go talking to, find out where they're going to have you training at, and find out what kind of training they do. If all they're doing is getting you your CDLs and charging you $3,000 or $6,000, I've heard some crazy money, you might want to reconsider. So do some reviews on whatever school they got and make sure they teach you about trucking. Let's see. The problem with Swift for me is I don't do well being babysat and micromanaged. Yep. What up, OTC? Yeah. Don't get me started about them being perfect out here. And we've got a few of them. And I got news for them. I'm the only perfect one out here. Says, Mike, what ways did they do that to you? I can already tell you. Some of it's that Qualcomm nonsense and all that. I did have my own truck. I did have my own authorities. I never did go out and broker a bunch of loads with my authorities, but I did get them. I've actually did my own thing twice where I went and leased on. When I had my big truck, that was in Georgia, and I was running containers out of the rail yard. Did okay with it. Then after moving to Texas, after losing my son, I got me a good, what I thought was a good pickup, and I started doing some hot shotting. I shouldn't have started that. My head wasn't in the game good enough. My business mind wasn't working, and I screwed myself there. And that's left me in a bit of a pinch, but that was a whole different story. But yes, I have done it. You have to live, breathe, and sleep your truck and trucking. If you want to do that, you're going to be married to your truck to make any real money. And these guys that come out here, they go to school and they get on with a company that trains them for 6 months or a year and then talks them into leasing a truck. You're really not an owner-operator. You're a glorified company driver. And you'll never make the big money because they steal it all from you before it gets to you. I know there'll be somebody argue with that, but that's the fact. Let's see. Have a good night, Papa Joe. Got a big training day tomorrow here in New Brunswick. All right, man. Shoot that on there again before you leave about what school you're at. There's a couple others that are talking about the school, so please post what school you went to. That sounds like a good school. And God bless, brother. Have a good night. Let's see. He started with Warner, stayed a year. I felt it was a great place to be at, but I made absolutely no money, 28 cents a mile. They have a great training program, but only out of Omaha. Don't go to Columbus for Swift. All the academy does is get you your CDL, save your money, and get your own schooling. There you go. Let's see. Michael says they were barely adequate. Exactly what you said, Papa Joe. I came out with a CDL and a real good sense of not knowing what I didn't know, right? What's your opinion on Landstar as a owner-op? Actually, I just had that conversation with Michael a while back. We talk a lot during the day. Landstar back in the day was one of the best companies out here for owner-operators to lease on with. That's a fact. They're still pretty good, although the old school drivers with them have been telling me over the last few years that they're cutting the rates for the trucks, which one of the problems with the trucking industry is all the cost associated with trucking goes up, but our pay does not, and that includes even the big companies. It's so competitive out here that a lot of times the cost of trucking goes up and what the load is paying goes down. Swift and Knight and some of them that you guys are talking about is one of the biggest problems in the trucking industry because they have so many trucks that they try to cut everybody else's throats and get all the loads. Our main company that we haul for, their biggest complaint is that companies like Swift and Knight and a bunch of them others, England, a bunch of the big ones, they will come in and cut everybody's throat, and they want X amount of loads, but they don't want to move them when the company wants them to move them. They want to have them sitting around waiting on one of their trucks to come in so that they can keep their trucks rolling. And so they're cutting our throats, and they're not giving them the service that they want. I know a lot of you don't want to hear that about your companies, but facts are facts. And they've been to J.B. Hunt, and Schneider was one of the first ones to really hurt us bad with their cutting the rates and stuff. They have changed their course of operations where they are now doing stuff a lot different, and they're not cutting throats so bad. Well, the next phase of them, Swift and all them others, they're doing the same thing. Let's see. Jamie's saying, Razor Bear, the money at Warner is with teams or as a trainer. Well, good night, Ryder. Take it easy, brother. Well, Cobain, I hope she liked what she's seen. Have I considered being an instructor? And that's from my daughter. Actually, your brother, for the last couple of years, he's been trying to get me to go be an instructor somewhere. There's a couple problems with it, and here's one of them. And the other one is that the closest place to me when he was looking that needed a trainer was about 50 miles or so away, and they wanted me to hire on part-time. I don't do part-time. And then what do I do if I get in there and with the way they're teaching, I don't agree with their teaching, that they're not really teaching right. It would really go against my grain to try to be putting out some steering wheel holders. I couldn't do that. So, yes, we have talked about it and thought about it, but ain't pulled the trigger on it yet. Versatile Training Solutions. That's one up in Canada that he was talking about. Let's see, Jamie, that's exactly why I left. I don't want to train or team. There you go. Let's see, I did lease at Trans Am Trucking. Never went negative, but I got out quickly because I saw the writing on the wall. Yeah, Trans Am is one of them companies that you need to run from. That's for damn sure. If anyone is looking for a good company, Knight Transportation Refrigerated Division, I have worked for them for a year and a half and have been getting 3,000 to 3,500 miles a week. Out of 3,000 to 3,500 miles a week, what kind of paycheck are you taking home? Tell the truth. Don't lie to us. If you ain't getting at least $1,000+ take home, yeah. They treat you good, that's good miles. Well, see, and that's the thing, folks. Just because you're getting a lot of miles don't mean you're getting a lot of pay. That used to be one of the things that we said out here, is that if they offered you a lot of miles, then the pay was low. If they offered you a lot of pay, then the miles were low. Hitting that happy medium there, that's the name of the game. And you have to be very careful about just swapping up companies all the time, boys and girls. If you decide that you want to go with like Knight Refrigerating, don't go over there and stay for 2 months and get mad and leave. You're hurting yourself. If you go over there, bite the bullet. You made the decision. Now stay there at least a year. Don't be a trucking whore and show on your application that I've been trucking for 3 years, and look, I've been with 20 companies. That ain't good. Let's see. She says, I left because they put me on medical leave and they took forever to get the paperwork together to get me back working, so I had to do something for the family. Yeah, I understand that. And Grace is saying the son was onto something. Keep looking into it. I think you would excel at it. I don't know about that though. $1,300 before taxes for 3,000 miles. That ain't all bad if you're a company driver. That ain't all bad. Let's see, Jason, bear in mind that your first year with any company was likely be not so good pay-wise. You got to stick it out at least a year. That's true. Papa Joe, I hope this doesn't offend you, but are you ever going to tell us the story of losing your son? I hope that doesn't hurt you. Actually, there is videos about it, and no, it doesn't hurt me anymore. Actually, telling about him helped me a lot back in the day when I was really suffering bad. There's not much to tell on it. Every Saturday, him and his girlfriend, we all lived in Georgia, and every Saturday, him and his girlfriend had this little route that they would ride on their lunch break on their motorcycle, on his motorcycle, backwoods type stuff. And there was a pickup not paying attention that turned right in front of my son. And it didn't kill him instantly, but he died within hours. His girlfriend did live, and none of it was his fault, but regardless whose fault it was, he's not here with us today. So, and coming up on his anniversary here in the next 2 months, so the anniversary of his death. Let's see, I'm not trucking, but from watching your videos, I know more than I need. Ha ha. Well, not to mention, you grew up around this shit too, so, you know. Appreciate all the info, guys. Love hearing from professionals. Well, you came to the wrong group for that. And Grace says, talking about him helps. His legend lives on. Yeah, it does. He's a good young man. And like I said, if you'll watch my archives, I've talked about him in several videos, but I think it was losing a loved one is where I talked the most about it. So, Jamie says, I miss trucking, but do not miss parking in those truck stops. You got to try not to park in them. Well, we've been on an hour already, and we're dropping a few people. Let's see. After Warner, I got on National Freight's Pods account. I'm not making millions, but I love doing it and the folks I work for. That right there is a big one, buddy. If you can get somewhere where you like it, that's the only thing that's kept me here. Overall, I like this company. I make decent money. I'm getting the home time that I want. And overall, I like the company. Like I've said a million times, there ain't no perfect company. And this one ain't perfect. So they get under my skin every once in a while. And you hear me doing my whining and crying and carrying on. Nonsense like this weekend, it was uncalled for. You know, I was in San Antonio emptying out Thursday. Why bring me all the way back up to the yard to tell me they ain't got nothing getting me home? Give me a load out of San Antonio coming to Houston. I know the way the companies look at it. They're wanting to get the miles in, so they got me one going up there where I could do something to make them more money. Damn the driver's home time. That's how I look at it. So, it is what it is. But yeah, if you're happy, that's the number one thing. Sleeping on ramps? No, I do not. And it ain't even a lot. I don't do it. I'll go over all my logs, all my e-logs before I sleep on ramps. That is not safe in any way, fashion, or form. I know there's a ton of drivers that do it. Not me. I won't do it. Now I'll stop and take a 30-minute break there. I'll stop on a ramp if I got an issue to take care of. But as for spending the night, nope, don't do it. Now maybe a ramp of a rest area, but regular ramps, no. And whoever was talking about Landstar, no, that was FedEx hotshotting. They would fire you for sleeping on a ramp. Landstar might be the same way. You might want to check. Oh. Yeah, I got that right, Papa Joe. Nothing but BS artists here. Right? Sleeping on ramps, I believe, is illegal in most states, and it is not safe. There's several of them that it is illegal in. Well, howdy in Iowa. Howdy from Texas. That's what I would do. Go over to not sleep on the ramp. Yep. Just as a point of reference, I did 4,480 miles in the last 7 days. And he did it legally. That's on electronic logs. Landstar does not let you sleep on ramps. That's what I was thinking. Would you drive for Trans Am? No, I would not even consider it. I've known people that have drove for them. No, it's not even a consideration. So, but there's a lot of them that's like that. Swift being one of them. Knight's one of them. CR England. I thought about it a couple years ago of driving for one of them. Actually, it was Warner, because I'd been hauling boats, and Warner does have a boat account. And I tried talking with them, and they just kept jacking me around like I didn't have a clue. And I did go through their orientation in Dallas. I went from orientation to Indianapolis, I think, in a rental car. I had just picked up and delivered some brand new trucks for them during orientation. Imagine that. Then when we got out there, they kept changing my job description. And was wanting to put me on some dedicated store run nonsense. And gave me a piece of shit truck. I went out there and they gave me the truck right at their quitting time. I go out and look at the truck. It's a piece of junk. I walk back in and everybody done left. I called my old boss in Tennessee and I said, "You want me back?" Actually, I said, "You want a grumpy ass old man?" He says, "Who you talking about, Joe? You?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Get me the hell out of here." "Where you at?" And I told him, and him and his wife commenced to get me a plane ticket out of there. So, yeah, me and Warner didn't get along very well. That was a week or so worth of dealing with them. Let's see. Any thoughts on independent self-driving truck thing? Worried? I'm not worried because I don't think it's going to work. They're going to create too many traffic jams, and there's going to be too many accidents. They're already having accidents with these self-driving cars and trucks. I don't see it working. They thought it would. They've got a long ways to go if they're going to make it work, I guarantee you. And then it's only going to be down the highway. You know, so I don't think it'll work. How come Stevens has nicer trucks than the rest? At least it seems like it. I have a young man that I know that drives for Stevens. His dad used to dispatch for him. And me and him got to know each other through Facebook. And the dad was going to come hauling boats where I was at. And the son decided to come with him. And it ain't like the son was a kid. He was pushing 40. Dad was pushing 60. And they just had issues trying to make any money hauling boats. I never did understand why they was having the issues they had. But they had one accident where the son was driving, and that haunted him for a little bit. he wound up having to get out of the boat hauling, and he went back to Stevens. And last I heard, he's still driving for him, and he loves it. He could make more money somewhere else, but he stays with Stevens. His dad stayed on hauling boats and wound up passing away, had a heart attack in one of the trucks and died on one of their trucks. The way Stevens has keeps nice trucks, it's like anybody else. They buy in bulk. They buy a whole bunch of them, so they get a cheaper price than anybody else. And then a lot of it is their trade-in policy. They more than likely only let them get X amount of miles on them, or a certain amount of them, and they trade them back in. Any company that's up on their game, in my opinion, they should be doing that. And that way they got warranty and everything else, and the manufacturer can fix their trucks. Let's see, TMB, Papa Joe, what do you think of my run? It's dedicated Ford parts from Coldwater, Michigan, Louisville, Kentucky. Live unload at the Ford plant back in Coldwater, Michigan, Sunday through Friday. 6'2" to 620 miles a day, 1,500 a week, 250 a day. Actually, I used to haul Ford parts, and it was pretty much a gravy job. I just talked about it the other night in one of my videos. I lived in Georgia, about 50 miles or so east of Atlanta, and I ran out of the whole Detroit area up there down to Ford, Atlanta, the Ford plant that they had in Atlanta. We got jacked around a little bit on each end periodically. Normally you get jacked around at the Ford plant more than anyone else because mine was not a dedicated. I know my buddy Chris, you've heard me talking about, he hauled the same area, only he had dedicated down there where he would take in fenders or something, and he'd go in there and drop and hook, and he was gone. A lot of times you had to sit around and wait on an empty trailer for, wait on an empty trailer or on one that had racks. I also ran out to New Gallus for them. Overall, the Ford freight was pretty decent. And if you're getting home every day and you like it, by all means, stick it out. That's the number one thing out here is if you're making the money you need to make and you like what you're doing, you're ahead of the game right there. We have so many disgruntled drivers out here, myself being one at time to time, that if you're happy with what you're doing, you're ahead of the game. Let me adjust that just a little bit. Let's see. Jamie hauled boats for Warner for about 3 or 4 months, and they had me down as a driver for their Bass Pro account. Yeah, and that's what I wasn't real worried about their Bass Pro account, but they do have the they haul the trackers out of Missouri there, and that's all trackers go to is Bass Pro. Now they also had a van division that's dedicated Bass Pro, and they was just trying to tell me where I lived I couldn't haul it, and then I found out later on that they were lying. Imagine that. They had drivers that didn't just live around Lebanon, Missouri that was hauling them. And the boat hauling, I made real good money in it for several years, and like everything else, Warner and Maverick and who's the other one? Dedicated Destination Excellence or whatever it is. A bunch of them have started hauling it, and they've gone in and cut the damn rates. You know, so now the rates are bottoming out. So that part's aggravating. It's been aggravating to us out here for quite a while. I don't know that Warner runs any cab overs anymore. There are some of them that definitely have cab overs, but they're real small sleeper on here, And then they have the extended frame where they put one boat on the truck itself, and then 2 or 3 on the trailer. So saw 2 last night on the shoulder of I-35. TMC, that is correct. Thank you, sir. Destination Excellence, yep. Well, they're hauling a bunch of boats now. I did pretty good when I was hauling it. I got out shortly after all these other fools started jumping in there and cutting the rates. So it is what it is. So, how about y'all hitting that like button on there a little bit? I see I got 14. I got 20 people. Let's run that like button up a few there. Y'all give me some likes on there and get my rating up. Thank you. 3 of them. Boom. Thank you very much. And that way that rating stuff works is YouTube recommends these videos to different people. There it hit 20 and somebody left. I made them mad asking for them to hit it. They go by a lot of the likes and all that on my rating on if they recommend my videos to people that are doing searches. That's basically how that works. So, which if it reaches out to enough people and they see it and they decide to subscribe, it slowly helps my subscriptions go up. Oh, and I'm not one of these to get on here. I see so many of them got that trailer at the end. Oh, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and blah, 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 blah. Now, every blue moon, I'd rather just tell y'all, please hit the like. And 2 of them done got off now. I guess they really didn't like it. You know what they say in Texas? See ya. So, actually, they probably lost their signal. That's what I want to think. They wanted to stay on, but they had to go. So, and speaking of which, folks, this has been an hour and 22 minutes. I'm fixing to cut it off. Fire the old beast up. Warm me up some dinner back there. I'm getting hungry. TMC is very big on keeping their equipment clean. Boy, ain't that the truth. Wouldn't work for me. I'm a once-a-month truck wash type. Well, actually, the owner of this company has jumped my butt about this truck getting dirty. And here a few weeks ago when we had that conversation and I was ready to go, and he wasn't wanting me to go, and I told him a couple times, but Larry, my truck's dirty. He's like, I can live with it. But Larry, it's really dirty. Joe, I can live with dirty. You don't tear my stuff up. So, but we don't have that problem no more. Let's see, are you in search of another company I drive for due to the... There we go. Are you in search of another company to drive for due to the boss's change up? Not really. Like I said, in trucking, you've got to weigh it out, the pros and cons with whoever you're with. And over here, the pros are a lot more than the cons. I really do like the company. I like the area that I'm running. I like what I'm doing. Like I said, with every company, they've got their bad days. There ain't none perfect. So yeah, they make me mad periodically. But I hope to retire here. So, all right, Michael. Good night, brother. God bless. Let's see. And Razor's gonna grab a shower and hit the rack. Well, you be safe too, brother. Oh. And Grace is going to bed. Good night, Dad. I love you. I enjoyed your video tonight. Keep them. This ain't a video, young lady. This is live streaming. See, you didn't know your daddy was into all this modern technology, did you? Love you too, sweetheart. Sweetheart. You and Allie. Hope Brett's doing a lot better. Oh. Let's see. And Benjamin's glad it worked out. Having more pros is good. Yep, that's a fact. Let's see. My dad has been working for TMC for 40 years. Terminal manager. Harold Anity, the owner is a military man and demands the equipment be clean. Yeah, pull a GI inspection on me and I'm in trouble. I'm old jarhead and I'm used to being in the mud and the grass and carrying on. Well, good people, I'm fixing to sign off on this rascal and get me some dinner ready and start thinking about bed. They'll be here about 7:30 in the morning. Good night, Jamie. Yeah, 5 a.m. comes awful fast. I hear you. I appreciated y'all coming in and joining me tonight. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the likes. Recommend me to some of your people. You know, share the word of the vast knowledge of Papa Joe or something. Y'all remember, God loves you and so do I. Y'all have a blessed evening. Oh, okay, David. Well, brother, you came on as I'm signing off, man. But here in a few minutes, it will be up on the archives list there. You got anything you want to ask me right quick before I sign off, David? I'll give you a minute or two here. A bunch of them are dropping off. You lazy old solar-powered truck drivers. All right, David, I didn't see nothing jump up, brother. Let's see. Jason, take it easy, Papa Joe. See you on the next one. Yes, sir. I just snuck this one in on everybody. I didn't know I was going to have it. I just jumped on here and did it. David, thanks for joining up, brother. Sorry you joined on at the last minute, but thank you anyway. Rest of y'all, remember, God loves you, so do I. Be safe out there. Good night.